Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back all my members, because this is a members only video. Welcome. You are the privileged few, so please take a look around, breathe it in. This is Members Lounge. Let's get to it. We're talking about the Inghams today. Who else? I will have some more non-Ingham member videos. I know that may not excite you a great deal, but you know, hopefully we can get some non-Ingham members on board as well, so we need to cater for everybody. Just a thought. But today we're talking about what the Inghams have been up to, and I have some very good points to make because couple of things have really been getting on my nerves ever so much. You know, this is the Ingham time of year. It's Christmas. This is what they do. Nobody does it like Anne the Ingham Christmas. If you know, you know. Anne the Ingham Christmas. Anyway, nobody does it like the Inghams do it, right? Except they do it so much worse than everybody else. They just don't know it. Today we're going to be talking about mainly money. So if you are very money distressed, you may not like this one. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, right. A couple of points before we get on to the main topic of the video is they're in Disney, as you probably know, and they have been filming the shit out of Jace in terms of everything, all his reactions to everything. Like last night's vlog, they were on a ride and Jace was enjoying it. It was great fun for him, but Sarah was just sat there, not taking in the moment, not doing anything, but she had a camera right in his face. It's like trying to capture every sinew of his reactions. And I don't like that, to be honest. I think it's really sad if that's all that's important to you, is getting your child's reactions for vlog content, especially what's supposed to be a magical time of year. And speaking of magic, Sarah has come out and explained why she is filming Jace so much over Christmas, because apparently she got a lot of criticism for the fact that it's only Jace that she's filming for Christmas stuff so much, like opening gifts and opening everything. But she said that because Jace is at that magical time, that magical age where Christmas is just magic, she needs to capture every last detail of him. But the point is, it's not whether or not you capture. I kind of get that, right? But you still need to take pictures of your other kids, surely. But anyway, it's the uploading it and using it for vlog content, really. I think that's the main issue. Now, speaking of trying to reel your audience in with appropriate content, because that's what they try to do. They try to think, what will my audience want to watch? What do the kids of these days want to watch at Christmas and stuff like that? So they filmed Jace because it's a money spinner. But Chris seems to be having some sort of, I don't know what, but recently he's filmed 2 stories which are excrement related, shall we say. Yeah. First he tells this elaborate story about a cat which they found in the Cornwall house that they were renting out. They found this cat. It was just a stray cat come from somewhere, and it was in the room, and then he chased it out, and it just did it just like had diarrhea or something, and it was all over the floor. And Chris spent the best part of whatever, at 3 a.m. cleaning it up. Yeah, I don't know whether or not that was true. It just seemed a bit like, what the fuck? And why does the audience need to know? I don't know. And then there was the story about the hotel room in Disney, and the fact that it had brown stuff all over the handles in the bathroom and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe he's trying to appeal to the younger audience, his audience's level of intelligence. So those are the types of stories that people like the kids want to watch, probably. I don't know. Anyway, my main issue with these is the money, the bragging about the money, right? And I wouldn't usually get so uptight about it, but I know a lot of people are struggling right now, and I don't say that lightly. I've seen so many things on TV about how people are struggling. Last night, for example, there was a program where people literally they didn't have anything to cook food, and they had to go out to this street corner where these people were doing charity work and actually feeding people. These are not homeless people. These are just people who can't afford to eat, or they can't afford to cook their food. So they have to literally go out and get given food. Yeah, it was really sad. And it brings home to you just how bad some people have it. I mean, I'm not bragging myself, but I'm okay. I'm eating and I'm heating myself, and I'm lucky. But other people are not so lucky. And these absolute twats, they go and not only go on a pointless trip to Cornwall in the height of winter, which is just ridiculous. As I said before, people are struggling to heat themselves, and these idiots are going to the bloody seaside in the winter, where I couldn't think of a colder thing to do, right? So they then spend several days there at a cost of, it was a reported something like £250 a night. I didn't look specifically into it. I just seen something posted, so I don't know how true that actually is, the actual cost, but sounds about right. So, there was no need to spend that money at all. Literally no need. I mean, if it was somewhere like exciting to go, a point to actually going, but the point that they had of going was literally so that they could get away for Christmas, literally so they could go somewhere, and that was to Cornwall, which is just so random. I can't even think. It's like, well, no, I mean, going to Blackpool would have been a better option. I mean, they've been to Blackpool recently, but at Blackpool at least there's reasons people go, because it's the illuminations and whatnot. Anyway, Cornwall, I don't think they have a rich tradition of tourism in the winter. I could be wrong, okay, but it sounds quite like a summer event for most. Anyway, so they did that, and they did nothing there. Literally nothing. They went to the beach, they went for walks on the beach, they played on the beach, they just went to the beach. They went to like a Christmas market one day, but that was about it. And they just did nothing that they couldn't have done on like Scarborough Beach or something like that. So pointless. But then it gets to the point where we realise why they're down that end of the country, because obviously they're on the way to Disney. They didn't tell us that at the time. But then it gets even worse, because whilst they're down there, they endlessly brag about how much money they're spending. Like, they went from Cornwall to where is it, the port where they get the boats. My mind's gone blank now. The bit where they catch the boats, they went from Cornwall to there, right? So, but they showed how much. See, this is the thing, they don't have to show how much they're spending on fuel. They do not have to. They wanted to find out really how much the difference was between fuel in the UK and the France, I think. So they filmed filling up a full tank in the UK before they left Cornwall, and they spent £130, and that annoyed me a lot, because A, why show it, and B, there was no point to actually spending the amount of money that they're spending on fuel. And then the very next vlog, so like the next day, they film filling up again. So they didn't quite fill up a full tank, but they spent €120. So £130 one day, €120 the next day on fuel. And it just seems like, A, it's pointless, but B, they don't need to show it. If you're going to spend that amount of money, there literally is no reason to be rubbing people's faces in it at all. This is how much we can afford. This is how much we're paying. This is how much we're spending. That is literally what they're doing. And then they go into Disney and they spend the next few days showing off how much they're spending on food. So I've never been to Disney, any of the Disneys, so I don't know how much it costs, the meals there in the restaurants, but according to Chris, they spent €45 per person. That's for adults. I think it was 11 plus was €45. So that's like, there's like 4 of them, isn't it, at that cost? And the others were €25. That to me is a huge amount of money to spend on a meal. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's a lot of money. But if that's how much it costs and it's a one-off, then, you know, whatever. But again, there was no need to tell everybody about the cost. It was ridiculous. And then the next day, it didn't quite cost as much. But again, we got a rundown of how much it cost. But why? Just, the point is that they are bragging how much they can afford to spend, and they're not actually taking into account their fans, their audience, or anything. I mean, their audience will probably say, oh, it doesn't matter, we don't care, you know, if you want to spend that, it's fine, we support you and everything. But it's not really the point. Just, they need to stop with the bragging. Christmas Day will be interesting because they have this tendency to go overboard with their presents and gift giving, so they're just so out of touch. But speaking of, you know, the fact that they've been bragging how much they've been spending and how much they're buying for themselves and giving themselves, and they're having a lovely time, they're in Disney and it's all magical and they spent all this money, and, you know, all that is notwithstanding the actual amount it costs to spend a few days in Disney, I have no idea how much it cost, but I know it's a lot of money. And we're going to take a look back at what Sarah said just a few weeks ago, and this will bring it all back to you why this whole thing is so bad.
But one new tradition I want to start with the older girls this year, definitely Isabel and Esme, maybe Isla. I feel like Isla's quite mature and would be good for this as well, and that's volunteering ourselves, basically. So volunteering to do some help and work at a charity organisation. We did do this quite a bit when we lived in Leeds, and we volunteered at a kitchen, and it was where you take food to this set location, and it was like, not, I don't mean like just some sandwiches, I mean like they were making like chili, and all the homeless people could go and help them, not help themselves, get a meal basically. So they could go and get a hot meal, not just like a sandwich, it was like a hot meal. And we've not done that in a few years since we moved away, so I'd really like to to volunteer somewhere with the older girls this year, like maybe at an old people's home, or like we did before at like a homeless shelter type thing. I do need to do a little bit of research because I'm not too sure what's in this area and close to us. But that's one thing that I'd really like to do this year with the older girls now that they're a bit older, and continue on each year as.
So what exactly happened to this? This is the annoying part, right? We all knew when she was talking about it, it was like, what is she on about? You know, is she going to do that? Is she really, can you really see Sarah and her children actually doing that? But she actually said all that knowing full well that they intended to spend Christmas away. Most of Christmas they've been away. They knew full well they were going away and they wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, obviously, yes, they still do have time, but hands up those who truly believe that Sarah Ingham is going to, in the few days before Christmas, actually get out of her house and go and help people in need. Do we think that that's possible? Remember, they have all their rituals. They've got the Christmas Eve where they spend it all alone, on their own, because, you know, they're just such an insular family. So that's what they, you know, when are they going to do it? I don't know when they're coming back as well. They're spending Disney, I think tonight is the last night they're in, or the last day, full day in Disney. And then they said, but our adventures don't end there, so it sounds like they're going on somewhere else. So this is annoying, the fact that she said that she intended doing this, but she knew full well that she would not have the opportunity or the time to actually do it because they were going away. But, you know, that's Sarah Ingham, so I'm not going to let her forget.
Well, we are also going to be doing the reverse advent calendar this year, so you basically get a basket or a bag. You can use anything you want really, a basket or a bag or whatever you see fit, and each day you put a food item in the basket. So at the end of the year, at the end of the month, you'll have a fairly sized food donation to donate to donate to whoever you want to donate it to. We do also like to do a big food shop. I never like talking about charity donations and charity things that we do. I never like talking about it because when we have done in the past, we've been accused of only doing it for content, and that's really hurtful. I hate it when people say that. But you're accused of doing it for content. Like, if you want to do a donation, then do it without letting the world know, which I kind of agree with, to be honest. I do kind of agree with that. There's so many videos on YouTube solely of people going out doing charity things, but filming it. And I do to an extent completely agree that if you're doing these things, you don't need to tell the world about it. But then on the flip side, we get, now that we don't film anything we do for charity, we get, why are you wasting money on that? You should be donating to charity. So you literally can't win. Like, you can't win. If you film it, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and if you don't film it, you're not doing it at all.
I'd like to just point out a slight inconsistency in the story here. Whilst I kind of agree and I know what she's talking about and I get it, but what she's saying there is that she doesn't tell people what she does for charity because she gets accused of using it for content. However, if you rewind a little bit, she's just said that she's going to be starting a new tradition of helping out at food places for the homeless and stuff like that. So that suggests that she doesn't already do it. So when she's saying that she doesn't film things for charity because she doesn't want to get accused, so she's just doing it behind the scenes, she's not actually doing it behind the scenes because she's just told us she's not doing it behind the scenes.
So we've just stuck to just not mentioning it and not filming it. But seeing as though this video is a Christmas traditions video, I kind of feel like I should talk about some of the things that we do without people thinking I'm only mentioning it for content. So we do always do a big food shop and donate it to the local food bank. We actually do this quite a few times throughout the year, as obviously food banks don't only struggle at Christmas, and actually over the last few months, the ones in our area at least have definitely been struggling, so we've done it a little bit more. And I think it's a really nice way to know that you're helping someone, and it doesn't have to cost hundreds of pounds. You can just buy as much or as little as you want. And trust me when I say that every little does help. Morrison's actually have bags, often as you walk into their store, already made up of items that they're desperate for, and they're in little white paper bags, and the prices are on the front on what you'll be charged for the bag, and the contents on the inside are on the front as well. So you can see what you're buying. It's shopping already done for you. You just pick up one of the white bags, pop it in your trolley, take it to the till, and then pop it in the donation thing at the end. Like, it's as easy as that. Like I said before, I know not everyone's got spare money, but that is a way that we like to try and help in a way that we can. And so I thought I'd mention that on this video.
That's Sarah Ingham anyway. I don't know how true any of that was, but my original point was that they have spent the last week just bragging so much about how much they're spending, and I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, they're complaining about the costs of this and they're complaining about the costs of that. I don't believe that that's what they're doing. They are simply just saying to everyone, look at what we're spending, look at what we can afford, because people don't believe that they can afford anything, so they need to tell the world, look, we're not skint, we have this money and we're going to spend it and we're going to tell the world about it. And it's wrong, as I said, because of so many people struggling right now. And on that note, I hope that everybody here, all my friends here, are doing okay, and that you're surviving, and that you're keeping warm, and that you're eating. And if not, never be afraid to reach out to anybody to get the help you need. I hope you've enjoyed this little rundown, because I've had a bit to say. Until next time, which could be this time next week, is actually Christmas Eve, so you know, if you spare a moment, I might have a video. We'll see what they've been up to anyway, and until next time, please have a lovely day, stay warm, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.